to another episode of the Bottom of the Stream Movie Show. My name is Adam.
My name's Nick. Welcome aboard. We're back.
We're back. We've taken the boat to France this week.
Been here twice this season.
We have been. We keep coming back and across that channel.
I know. We could have stayed here.
We could have, yeah. We could have done them both in a row. It would have been easier, wouldn't it?
But that's not how our randomizer works.
It's not how Robin treats us.
No.
Captain Robin.
Yeah.
Takes us wherever we want.
We do randomly select a movie every week.
Yep.
And thus we are here to talk about Get In.
Get In was released in 2019. It is an 18. It runs for 1 hour and 37 minutes. Currently rated at 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb and is a Netflix original. 5.6. Thoughts?
Feels high.
Yeah, agreed. I've got an awful lot to say about this film.
There's many reasons why that is the case. But yeah, it feels high.
This is a weird one.
Yeah.
It stars a guy called Adana Niane. That's how I'm pronouncing it. Don't know if it's right or not. He plays Paul Diallo. You may recognise him if you are a Lupin fan. He plays Leonard in a Lupin.
Lupin. Yeah.
So you may recognise him from that. It also stars a lady called Stephane Caillard. She plays Chloe Diallo, Paul's wife. You may know her if you have seen the film The Take with Idris Elba. She is in that. And thirdly stars a guy called Paul Hamey. He is Mikey, and he hasn't really been in anything that isn't French.
Okay, fine.
Directed by a guy called Olivier Abbou, and written by a guy called Aurélien Molas. Again, they both only really write and direct French product. There is a film that came out, I think it came out last year.
Right.
It's called Iskander, Shadow of the River.
Okay.
Same writer, same director, exactly the same cast.
Oh, we're interesting.
They've all got back together and made that film. It's rated higher on IMDb than this is, so I have no idea what it's about or what it is.
Okay.
But
they had such a lovely time doing
all
this.
three of those people are in it, and the guy wrote it, and the same director made it.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I thought. Do you have a one-word review of Get In?
Grizzly. And not like the bear.
That's an understatement. It's a bit dirty and nasty. This, isn't it?
Yeah, but not how you.
Not how you
think it is. It will be at the start.
Oh no! This film shifts its tone 3 times, maybe.
Yeah, it does a few handbrake turns.
The film that finishes is not the film that starts.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's batshit crazy, is what it is.
Well, it is and it isn't, because
it is.
No, but what I mean by that is the turns are weird, and then you're just like, all right, we're going down this direction now, are we?
Yeah.
And then it goes again, and you're like, does this film know what it is?
No, not a clue.
No, I don't think it
doesn't have a clue what it is. I don't know what this film is. I genuinely don't. I've seen this film now, and I don't know what it is. But shall we get into it?
If
and
that's
we'll see
not
where it goes?
a tease for
keep watching.
Listening to this.
Keep watching whatever you're watching and listening to us at the same time. If you're on the road, keep watching the road.
Yeah, please do.
Please do. Where does this film start, Nick?
The seaside.
It does. Family at the beach is what I've written.
On holiday. Yeah. There's an RV.
Yes.
They're on tour.
It comes up on the screen that this film is based on a true story. I don't know how true that is, but that's what it says.
Okay.
And it also starts on August the 30th. The date comes up on the screen. This is where we are. And we have a family. They're driving home.
They've had a lovely summer.
Had a lovely summer away from home.
So this is Paul and Chloe and their son, Louis. Yeah.
That sounds right. Yeah. So they've been away for a while. They get back home. It's absolutely sheeting it down. It's not a nice night. It's night time. It's late. They just want to get home, get into bed.
Yeah.
Get home. But their remote control gate for their massive house is not working.
Yeah, it's a big old house.
They have a lovely house. We see a lot of families who live in amazing houses on this show. Yes, we in fact started the very show with it. The open house was our first ever film, and that was an amazing house. And it's becoming a trope. But the remote's not working, and they can't get hold of anyone. So
someone's in their house.
Yes.
I was a bit confused as to what they were trying to do here. Because I was like, is this their house? And then they start ringing people. I'm like, oh no, it's their friend's house. They're staying at their friend's house. And the way this unfolded, actually, I thought was good, and it pulled me into this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the whole time we stay in the cab of the RV.
We almost from the kids' perspective in the back seat.
Yeah, almost.
So we're in the back seat of the car.
From over Chloe's shoulder.
For this whole scene.
And Paul says to her, right, I'll go and try the gate.
Yeah.
You keep ringing them.
Yeah.
And my notes are like, oh, they're at their house. No, it's their friend's house. what's going on? Why is no one answering the phone? And there's a good couple of minutes, and all we hear is the rain coming down on the vehicle, and Chloe ringing these two phones alternately. So she rings the guy, Eric, and then she rings Sabrina.
Yeah.
Where are you? Why aren't you answering your phone? We're trying to get in.
And then you've got the rain hitting the top of the car, which you can hear. Paul's outside. He's getting soaked. He's also shouting at Chloe. Yeah. There's a lot going on. It's quite hectic. And you're right. It doesn't really explain what's going on.
Yeah.
It starts up in a hectic
It's a good,
way. Yeah, agreed.
Tease into the movie, I thought.
I agree.
And then the police turn up.
Yeah. So Paul climbs over the gate to get into the grounds of the house, and that's when the police show up. So, and it turns out somebody's called them.
Yeah.
And it's the people in the house have called the police because somebody's trying to get into their house, in inverted commas. Paul's like, this is a mistake. Look at the name on the mailbox.
It's my house.
My house. This is my house. I'm not broken into this house. And the name on the mailbox is not their name.
Yeah.
So, and this is where we find out that they have allowed their son's childminder
to house
it while they're away. And we are now getting the feeling that this may have been a bad decision. So they end up getting...
Paul gets cuffed.
Yeah, he just gets tough. They all get taken to the police station.
Yeah.
And the police show them this paperwork that Sabrina and Eric... So I don't know who Eric was. Was he like...
He was Sabrina's husband.
So he didn't work
boyfriend.
for them or anything.
No, I didn't think
so Sabrina was their childminder. She'd been allowed to stay in their house while they were away.
Yeah.
With her
so they'd been away all summer on this tour.
They've been away for like a few months.
Yeah.
And she'd been paying the bills and everything was fine, but now she's stolen their house. That's the build up to this.
Yeah, now, as quickly as I was like intrigued by this movie, I was now taken out of it a bit. Because we're at the police station and the investigating officer says, well, I've got a bit of paper here, which you've signed, saying that they can stay in your house.
Yeah.
And I've got another bit of paper here which says Eric and Sabrina are paying the utility bills.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know if this is just like my unfamiliarity with French law, but the policeman goes, well, they're paying the bills.
They've got the right to stay there, yeah. Which doesn't work.
And I was like, I'm not sure it's that easy.
If I suddenly started paying your gas and electric bill, that wouldn't make your house my house.
Yeah, and it really took me out of it. Because I've actually written, this seems ridiculous.
Yeah, I think they'd basically got squatters' rights because they were living there.
Yeah.
They'd been allowed to live there and they were paying the bills. But, I don't know, it did seem a bit... Ridiculous is a good word to use, I think.
I couldn't connect with their situation because I was like... Part of it is they gave up easily, which I know is like one of the sort of defining traits of Paul, the character.
As it becomes clear, yeah.
But I just didn't buy into how easy this was done.
No. I completely agree. It just seems a bit far-fetched that it would happen.
Yeah.
But the police arrested him because somebody changed the name on the mailbox.
Yeah, and the police guy even says to him, don't break in.
Yeah.
That's 3 years in jail for you.
Whatever you do, don't try and break into the house. Yeah. Let the law figure this out.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know. I'm not sure. So Sabrina, they leave the police station. They're allowed to leave, and they go straight back to the house. Sabrina's like, Chloe's like, I want to go and talk to them. She's my friend. Sabrina's my friend. She's raised our son, basically. And they get there, and Sabrina's outside, but she won't talk. She just keeps saying no comment over and over again. And
Eric's like, fucking come at us. Try it.
Eric comes out and he's like, stands up to them. And Paul's a weak individual. At the start of this film, Paul's a weak individual. So they head off to a campsite. Because it's late, they want to sort themselves out.
Yeah.
Gather their thoughts. So they head off to a local campsite. The guy lets them in. The guy is Mickey. He seems to have a history with Chloe.
They know each other from school.
Yeah, they've got a history there, definitely. And he lets them in. He says it's €20 a night. Stay as long as you want. There's literally nobody here.
Yeah, because it's the last week of summer. Everyone's getting ready to go back to work and school next week.
He even says to him, have your pick of the field. Park wherever you want. Paul makes some calls. Basically gets told, you've got no chance of getting them out. They're paying the bills.
Well, not quite, because the lawyer says, right.
Yeah, because they head to a lawyer after.
It might be a week.
Yeah.
But this sort of thing, I've seen it before. It never gets turned down.
Yeah.
You just need to hang tight for a week.
Yeah, the lawyer basically says to him, "You can't lose."
Yeah,
they'll
get like a court order. They'll turn it around. Yeah,
you can't lose. Then the film comes up with the 5th of September. So we're 3 weeks later?
No, Started on 30th of
I
August.
thought it was the 20th of August.
30th.
Oh, okay, fair enough. And they're still in their camper van. They're still living in this camper van in this campsite.
They've got 2 days left until this court order is going to come through for them.
Fair,
I think is what they say.
And we find out at this point that Paul's a teacher. He's a professor, a history professor, and he's teaching a class on liberty and history and
these
life.
kids are all over him.
Yeah, they don't like him.
This guy's not got control of his room.
No,
at all.
Not at all. So he's teaching philosophy of John Locke, that sort of thing. And he kicks. There's basically the kids are attacking him. They're not attacking him, but I think they know of his situation and they know what's going on.
Possibly,
and they consider him to be a weak individual, I guess.
He's teaching sort of 3 of your rights, aren't he? So he says life, liberty, property, and one of the kids sort of says, "Well, only weak people get robbed."
Yeah, because they obviously know what's been going on.
I presume so.
Yeah, I certainly got that impression that they were thinking this guy's been robbed. What a weak ass.
Yeah.
They actually call him a racist for being robbed, which I thought was a very strange thing to say. One of them called him an Oreo.
Yeah.
So basically, he's black on the outside and white on the inside.
I know. I've heard a similar phrase before.
Yeah,
so, my friend who is of Indian descent, he calls himself a coconut.
Okay.
Which is the same principle.
Same concept, yeah. Then he goes home after he eventually kicks this guy out of the class. He does use a bit of authority that he's got. So he's had a bad day. He goes back to his campsite and he can't get in the door. Somebody's locked the camper van. He literally can't get in anywhere now. But then it's a surprise party because it turns out it's his birthday.
Yeah.
So his missus has organised this surprise party.
It looked lovely, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
Setting by the lake,
it made me think
fairy lights.
Made me think I'd quite like to live in a camper van. It was all decorated up nice, and he didn't seem to be having the best of time. I mean, it's quite humiliating, I guess, when your house gets stolen from you, and then all your friends get invited to your camper van for a party.
There's something shady.
Emasculating, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's something a bit shady about Chloe. Not shady. She's very flirty with other people at this party.
Especially that one guy.
But almost like rubbing it in Paul's face.
Yeah.
Because he won't get up to dance. He just wants to sit there. Yeah, she doesn't seem that bothered by this whole house thing.
No, it's almost like she was expecting it because Paul's so weak that someday this was going to happen. It's like, I've got a wussy I've got a wussy husband. And my life's just like this. But it turns out that she's being angry because Paul's missed a psychiatrist appointment that they're supposed to have.
I think they're having marriage counselling.
Yeah, they're not in a good place in their marriage anyway before this. That was what the holiday was for, to get them back on track. But Paul's missed it again. Chloe's really not happy. So unhappy that she refuses to have birthday sex with him.
Yeah.
She's not happy in the slightest. Then we get to the 15th of September. So a few weeks have passed now. But at least a couple of weeks. And the court case is going on. The result of this is eventually they lose the court case and it gets referred.
Yeah, and again, the judge's whole reason
was because you're paying the bills.
They're paying the utility bills.
Yeah.
So they can now have your house.
They can live there now. It's fine. And to the point where
you can probably tell I couldn't quite get over this.
Yeah, I was with you a little bit. I was like, this just seems a little bit far fetched. It wouldn't happen. It's not the real world. But it gets referred to the High Court. So the lawyer says, look, we will still win, but it's now going to take us a little bit longer. Yeah, we've got to run through all this paperwork, whatever. And Paul's like, well, I'm going to go to all these different government departments to see if anybody can help.
There's a montage of him like on a wild goose chase through the council
from town hall to councils to courts to everything, and nothing comes of it. He's just getting given the runaround. When he gets back to the campsite, he sees a fiberglass statue of a slave.
Yeah.
Which he doesn't like, and he picks it up and just throws it in the lake.
Yeah, fair play to him.
Yeah, fair play to him. But Mickey sees him do it.
But Mickey says, I like your style.
Yeah.
I can understand why
you've just done that. Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell anyone.
Yeah. Even though it's not mine, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So he says, look, come and have a beer with me. Let's have a chat. Mickey gives his story a little bit. So his wife's basically chucked him out, or cheated on him. His wife cheated on him, left him. So he's got this job working at this campsite now where he basically just lives and runs the campsite and has this life. They discuss history a little bit. There's a bit of... it's male bonding, isn't it? There's two guys becoming friends is what's happening here.
Mickey's honest though. He says, can I tell you the truth?
Yeah.
And he sort of backs off and says, no. Paul says, no, I want to hear it. And Mickey says, well, sounds like you're a victim through choice.
Yeah, he says that a few times to him.
Yeah, this is definitely a
Calls
theme.
him a victim because you decided to be.
Yeah.
We get a quick scene of Chloe crying in the caravan. And basically the kid is like, why won't Sabrina give me my house back?
Yeah.
So that makes Chloe cry. It's all kicking off. Then they go to the lawyer again, and she's like, right, it's gone past the point in the winter now where they're not allowed to be evicted.
Yeah, she said, good news.
Yeah.
Got your High Court hearing.
Yeah.
November the 9th.
Yeah.
It's about a month or so away.
Yeah.
Bad news. All evictions are banned till after the winter.
There's some sort of winter eviction ban in France. So even if we win, you won't get it back till after the winter because we're not allowed to evict them after that date. Paul's not happy. Paul storms out. That's the first real emotion Paul's shown.
Yeah.
He's
in a funk now.
Yeah, he's in a bad way. He's not a happy man.
No.
Is how I would describe him. He witnesses a fight at school. He doesn't break it up. He gets a bit of stick from some of the other teachers for not breaking it up. Then he goes, Paul goes for a run because he's literally running. The camera's right in his face and he's running at us. It's quite scary. When he gets back, Mickey's sitting in a van and he's like, come on a boys' night out. Let's go and get slaughtered. Forget your worries. Take your mind off it.
Whole house issue.
Yes. Get in the back of my van. Meet my mate Frank. He's a crazy ass bastard. Paul gets in the back. There's guns in the back of the van. This is not going to be a fun night, I don't think. And we meet Frank. Frank's not a real human. He's just insane. He's crazy, isn't he?
Yeah. He's the token rich boy with just
it's it boy.
Drunk all the time.
All the time. They head to a club.
Do they? Because I've put they go to a strange barbecue rave in their pants.
Yeah, okay, fair. That's a great way to describe it. I'm not quite sure where they were. It looked like they were under some sort of bridge somewhere.
They were in, I presume it was under a bridge or something.
I presumed it was one of these cool clubs that's been converted from under a bridge or something.
I think it was on Frank's dad's farm.
Right.
From what happens after the club part. So, because it was like a bit abandoned.
Back there, but yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, they're definitely under some sort of bridge type thing.
Yeah.
Like, because they're in like the arches. They're outside yet inside, aren't they? And Mick is doing a barbecue.
Yeah.
Which I presume is largely pig based. There's sofas. There's an old lady sitting on like a throne.
That was Frank's mum.
Yeah.
Because he's like, Mum, there's a shot. And she's like, I don't want a fucking shot. What's going on?
And then there's a telephone box filled 2/3 with water.
Yeah.
And you have to get in it, down a can of lager.
Underwater.
Whilst being underwater.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of dance music going on. And I'm like, this is not a real
This
night
is the
out.
first big turn that this film makes because it becomes like, okay, that's not what I was expecting this film to go to. I've written the sentence.
It's gone all hedonistic.
It has. I've written the sentence, convince Paul to chug a can underwater in a phone box. That's a sentence I never thought I'd write.
Yeah, and Frank's all like, don't be a bitch, go and get your house back.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, yeah. He's like, they're both saying to him, this can't happen. They can't steal your house. Just go and take it back.
Yeah.
And Paul's like, I can't do that. The courts won't let me, blah, blah, blah. Then it gets a bit later at night, or the next morning.
The party winds down.
Party winds down.
Like early hours.
Early hours.
Dawn
it's
is
almost light, yeah. And you can hear pigs outside. And apparently all these pigs just all of a sudden turned up. And then they start shooting them.
Yeah, they shoot them
so
out.
That's what the guns were for. So they shoot them out the windows.
We get outside, and Mickey says, this is Frank's dad's old farm.
Yeah.
It went bust. And they just let the pigs run wild.
Yeah, when he abandoned it, he left the pigs here, and now the pigs kind of run the place.
Yeah, they take over.
But we just shoot them.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is really horrible, because there's still a load of them just squealing.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than the sound of a dying, squealing pig. And it's going on through this whole scene where they're talking to Paul. And they wind Paul up so much that eventually he grabs a gun, finishes this pig off.
Yeah.
That's a character turn for Paul, because he wouldn't do that. They all go home. Mickey and Paul go back to the campsite. And he says, look, I don't charge my mates for the pitch. You can stay here as long as you want. It's not going to cost you
because
anything.
Paul's basically gone, right, we're rolling out.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
I'm going to get my house back.
He says, how much for the pitch?
He's got this new lease of life.
Yeah, Mickey's like, you're my friend.
You're my friend. You're not paying. So they leave. They leave the campsite. They pack up the camper van.
Yeah.
The kid's still asleep in bed and he's like, drives off. And they go home and they get to the gate. They don't go to the gate. They go around the back of the house and smash through the back fence.
It's a very small...
Considering the security on the front gate,
yeah.
The back gate is a tiny wooden picket fence.
Yes.
Again,
I
very
felt like
surprising.
you could have just stepped over it.
Easily. It was... Yeah, there's a point where that gate becomes completely useless when there's a fence that's no higher than this table. It was very bizarre. But the camper van went through it like it was butter. They get out of the camper van. They're obviously now back on their property.
Louis realises where he is, the little kid, and he bolts out of the camper van.
Yeah, straight into the house. So then they panic because they're like, shit, now they've got the kid and the house. So Eric comes out and he's like, you need to leave. Yeah. Paul's like, you can't get a court order to make me leave because you need the owner to sign that off and I'm the fucking owner. Yeah. So they still got some legal right to this property. You must know that. But again, it makes no sense that why can't he just be there?
Yeah, nice, because they say a couple of times when he's on like the council wild goose chase, they're like, well, give me this document. And Paul says, oh, it's in the house and I can't get in the house. I'm like, well, there's no way the police wouldn't have gone and had a look at some of this stuff. And it just kind of didn't hang together for me.
Imagine if you left here now and somebody was living in your house when you got home. The police would be on your side.
Yeah.
They're not going to go, well, that's not your house. You're not the one in it. Are they? That's just stupid. It doesn't hold up at all.
It took the whole thing, because of how that's what the whole thing's hanging on. I couldn't get it out of my brain.
No, and there are ways to do this to make it make sense, I'm sure.
And it was like, their kind of get out seemed to be, well, you signed a document saying that they could
pay the bills while you were gone.
Yeah.
Unless he signed some ridiculous document where he's given them the deeds to the
Unless
house.
something was lost in the subtitles.
Yeah.
Did you watch the dub?
Yes.
Oh, no, there wasn't a dub.
No, there wasn't a dub. I meant to mention that at the beginning. That was fucked me off as well. There's no dub. It's only subtitles.
Unless, maybe give it the benefit of that. Unless something was lost.
Maybe.
In the subtitle.
Maybe. Okay, that's fair. We need a French person. Are there any French people listening who can tell us if it makes sense? Yeah, there's no dub to this film. I probably should have mentioned that at the beginning. It is all subtitled.
Good clarity.
It's not too... It wasn't too difficult. I didn't find it too difficult to read and write at the same time. Because I think I'm getting used to it because it's the second French film this has happened at now. So for some reason, French films are not dubbed on Netflix. Don't know why.
Anyway,
the kid runs into the house. Eric and Paul are arguing in the garden.
Yeah. And then the kid runs back out.
Yeah, because
all he wanted was his Nintendo DS.
Yeah, he wanted his DS. Because they were worried that they wouldn't... Paul kind of lost his bluster because he was like, well, they could keep my kid now as well. And then shit's getting really serious. But the kid comes back out. But they don't leave.
Eric shuts the doors though.
Yeah, he does. Eric shuts them out. Sabrina's still in there. So we find out it's this point that Sabrina's pregnant as well. So that's probably why this is all happening. But they're going to camp out in the back garden.
Paul backs down though, doesn't he?
A little bit. I would have would you have not just played music really loud all night?
Yeah.
Just fuck them off. Just really annoy them.
They haven't got neighbours.
No, exactly. It's a mansion. You could have I would have had the headlights on full beam pointed at the bedroom. I'd have had music blaring all night. Just wind them up. They've stolen your house. What are you being nice to them for? Chloe, though, is like, look, you need to ease up a little bit. You're losing your mind a little bit. She's getting a little bit worried.
She says, let it play out.
It'll all work out in the end. Just ease up.
She almost, but she stopped short. And I would have liked this a bit more if she'd have carried on and basically said what I was thinking. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And she almost does, but she doesn't. She's just like, look, let's follow the process. We'll get back in.
I think she can see Paul starting to lose his mind and getting really angry, which he's not.
Don't let it
obsess you.
Yeah, sort of thing.
So they stay in the garden, and he refuses to leave. They're basically sitting on the roof of the camper van.
Yeah, watching the people
in the house. And he's like, I've phoned in sick from work for 2 weeks. Yeah. I'm literally not going to leave this spot for 2 weeks. I'm going to stay here. Which is fair. I think that's what I'd do. Chloe goes to see Mickey because she's got wind that he's kind of riling Paul up a bit.
Yeah, and the night out has obviously sparked Paul into action.
Yeah. She just walks into his house and he's just in there shagging.
Yeah.
this bird. Bird. That's awful. I didn't just say that. This lady. So she walks in and then just walks out again.
To be fair, she's the one who looks to be in charge of the situation.
Yeah, very much
not
so.
Mickey.
Yeah. So she waits outside whilst he finishes himself off and cleans himself up. And after she's gone, she basically goes in. She says, "Look, you need to leave Paul alone. You winded him up.
Stay away from my family.
Stay away from my family." And then he grabs her.
Yeah, he gets
all handsy.
Yeah,
and she kind of likes it.
To
start with, there's a debate in her head going.
Is drawing him in, I guess.
There's a debate about part of her is liking this, part of her is not.
Yeah,
he's not a nice guy.
No.
He's a greasy, horrible guy. And he grabs her. He's like, "You didn't tell him about us," and they've obviously had some sort of history together.
Yeah.
You've got a bit of glitter on your forehead.
Lovely.
It's really shining in the red light.
My house is...
It's like...
There's all sorts of glitter around my house at all times.
I just keep noticing, I'm like, you've got a really weird bit of glitter on your head. Sorry. She needs him in the... I've written Nards, and I don't know why I've written Nards. I haven't said Nards for years. She needs him in the...
Because you've been watching The Office.
Yeah.
She punches him in the dick.
Yeah, she basically needs him in the dick and leaves his house and says, "Look, leave Paul alone." He screams a little bit. And then suddenly... It's the 25th of October.
Oh, yeah.
So we've passed a lot of time now.
Paul's straight back at Mickey's.
Yeah, he's running to start with, and then he goes... Yeah. She has a hot tub with Mickey.
Yeah.
Goes and have a hot tub together. He reveals that he knows that Chloe at some point has been cheating on him, but he stayed around.
Mickey guesses.
Yeah.
He's like, I think she cheated on you.
Yeah. And Paul's like, yeah, she did, and I stayed around. And Mickey says to him again, "Look, again, you've chosen to be the victim.
Yeah.
You could have controlled that situation like you could be controlling this one." And Mickey says, "Look, me and my friends want to help you with this. We can do this.
We can help the whole town get behind you."
Yeah,
that's what he said.
Yeah, basically, we can rally the town up.
Yeah,
they will be on your side. They know what's going on. Mickey. So we don't know what's happened or how that conversation ends. But Paul goes home and makes his kid cry.
Yeah, which we only see. We just see Louis' face.
Yeah, so we can hear Paul talking to him, and he's being really horrible to him. He's like, "You're a weak child.
Like, your mum's died.
Your mum's died." Yeah, and the kid
cry.
The kid's crying his eyes out, and then a camera flash goes off, and it's because he's made some flyers of this crying kid's been evicted from his house by these evil babysitters, whatever they were, and he's giving out flyers in the streets to the town. They literally are trying to get the town behind them.
Yeah,
it's an interesting way of doing it. I'm not quite sure it would work, but. If somebody handed me that in the street, I'd be like, "Oh, that poor kid," and then I'd just never think about it again. It just wouldn't bother me. And then we cut to the 31st of October.
You're a cold man.
I am. Yeah. The rest of this film plays out on Halloween night. They're still camping out in the back garden.
Yeah.
Eric comes out to the back garden, grabs Paul by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah. Marches him
into the house, through the house, and out the front of the house. Sabrina's standing there holding her belly because she's pregnant. We need to know this all the time.
And feeling a bit sick.
They're feeling very sick because of the dead pigs that are all over the front gate.
Yeah, so there's like pig heads impaled on the spikes.
Yeah, there's pig bodies on the floor. Yeah. And there's blood written all over. I don't catch what it said.
No, I didn't.
Somebody had written.
They've scrawled
in pig blood all over the walls of the house.
Yeah.
And Eric's not happy about this. Somebody's graffitied his house. It's not his house. And then Paul's like, "Well, this is what's going to happen. You've stolen a house. The whole town hates you.
Yeah.
You can't expect people to just not act." And then Sabrina starts throwing up in the background. Paul goes back round to the back of the house, back to the camper van. Chloe's moving out.
Yeah.
So her friends have turned up. They're taking her away.
They're going to stay with her.
They're going to stay with her friends.
And she says, "I've seen this flyer."
Yes.
What the hell are you playing
Why have you made my kid cry? We're leaving. Paul says, "Look, you're just running away from the problem. We need to sort this problem out."
Yeah, and then he reaches back into the drawer of "You owe me ones."
Yes.
And sort of says, "Look, you fucked around."
Yeah, basically.
So what right have you got to tell me
what to do? And she basically says, "You're all talk," and he says, "I will settle this tonight."
Yeah.
And he goes back to the club. Well, the club /
Now it's a boxing rave.
Yeah, there was a band playing in a boxing ring.
Yeah.
Which was very
With,
strange.
Ring girls walking around.
Yeah, but there's no boxing going on.
No.
There was the stage was.
Although Frank jumps off the turnbuckle.
Yes.
And into a crowd surfing type situation.
Yes.
Also, the soundtrack was terrible.
Yes, it really was.
Because it was literally just I'm fine with a bit of drum and bass or dance music or whatever, but this wasn't even a song. It was just a beat that repeat. And I know it was trying to like assault your senses a bit, but didn't work for me.
No, agreed. Same. Oh, Frank and Mickey are there. Obviously, Frank starts a fight because he's crazy.
Well, first thing Paul does when he gets there, he finds Mickey. Mickey hands him a load of drugs, and Paul just takes them.
Yeah, straight away. So Frank starts a fight for no reason. He just fancied having a fight, I think. Paul.
It turns out the guy who he fights with on the dance floor is one of the students from Paul's.
I never caught that at the time. I caught that later on, but yeah, it was one of his students.
The guy called him an Oreo.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I think that's just a coincidence, though. I don't think Paul had set Frank onto him.
No, they were just at
the
rave.
Paul then goes off and does some naughty with a lady.
A vampire.
Yeah.
Was she a vampire? Or was he hallucinating that?
No, because when he goes outside afterwards, Frank says, "Oh, you've spent some time with vampire girl or whatever."
Yeah.
Lady.
She's got fangs.
Lady Dracula, I think he calls her. Yeah,
and she's good at sucking.
Apparently so. Yeah, he freaks out when he sees her fangs, as you would. He heads outside. He runs away. Obviously.
This is after they've had some fun toilet time. That sounds really bad.
Don't call it toilet time. Fun, sexy bedroom time in a toilet. You call it that. Yeah, he runs away. He freaks out when he sees her fangs because it's like.
I think he's got performance difficulties.
Well, yeah,
because that was the first time it's alluded to here, but it's confirmed later on by his wife.
Yes, and then we'll get to the very end later. So he runs away. He goes outside, and Frank and Mickey are out there beating these two guys up.
Properly beating them up,
like to the point of I think he might have killed him.
They recognise Paul because the girl says, "Oh, Mr. Diallo, come and help. You're my teacher." Because she's obviously one of his students as well. But he doesn't. He just walks away, and he walks away from them. Yeah, he leaves. He's going back to the van.
So Mickey and Frank get into a car and chase after him. They catch up with him, don't they? And Mickey's like, they confront him at this point.
Mickey's now like really in his face,
angry.
like, "Are you going to do something? Are you going to do something?
You need to do something. I once banged Chloe."
Yeah.
He literally says that out loud. He's like, "I used to bang your missus." And Paul tells him to stay away, and then Mickey punches him.
Yeah.
So they're trying to rile him up. They're trying to get him to act. And then they drive away. They're like, "Fuck this guy. You can leave it." Paul then runs again. There's this scene of Paul just running into the camera, and they do it 3 or 4 times.
It was a bit peep show.
It was a bit peep show. It's like he's running with a camera on his face. And then he just stops and he does this blood-curdling scream. And that's the point where his mind goes, I think. I think that's what they were trying to do. Although it doesn't. It's just the point where you're like, right, he's had a mental break here.
Yeah.
The shit's about to go down.
But then it's like, he's got a moment of clarity because he's back in the RV and he calls Chloe.
Yeah.
Very calm. The calmest he's been for a long time.
Yes, yeah.
And says, just letting you know, I won't fight for custody of our son.
Yeah, he's basically given up on the marriage. Yeah. And he's like, you can go. And then she
then arrives immediately. Yeah, I think some time had
passed. Yeah,
like the next morning.
So she had got that message and then she was like, she hadn't left him. She had left the situation. I think she was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I've not left you here. I'm just like, we're still
She's like,
together.
I don't give up easily.
Yeah.
Not like you. It was a bit of a...
And she's like, Mickey...
backhanded.
She's like, yeah, I did bang Mickey, but that was years ago. Years and years ago. You're the man that I've fallen in love with. You're the man
She said she wants to grow old with him.
Yeah, you're the man I want to grow old with. And then there's some commotion out the front of the house.
Yeah.
And this film now becomes a completely different film.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
We'll go into my thoughts on the ending at the end. We're nearly there, to be fair. It's not taking us long to get through this one, but basically Mickey and all of his goons have showed up at the front gates of the house.
Yeah.
They smash the front gates of the house down. They then start setting fire to the garden.
They've got loads of petrol.
They've got petrol. They're pouring it all over the place. They are wearing pig masks, a la Jigsaw.
Yeah.
Paul's
hammering at the back door,
trying to get Sabrina and Eric's attention to help them.
Yes.
Because Paul had this mental break to the point where he'd been riled up so much, and then Chloe coming back stopped that in its tracks.
I think he was finally not at ease, but he was finally dealing with the situation.
I think he was ready to do something about what was going on,
yeah.
and she brought him back down to him. Mickey, so he started banging on the back door trying to get Eric and Sabrina up because their house is being destroyed. Yeah. He's trying to help them at this point now. And he goes out to the front to talk to Mickey. He's like, Mickey's my friend, I'll sort him out. He goes out, Mickey's like, I'm going to take your house, I'm going to take your wife, and I'm going to take your house.
He's like, I've already had your wife.
Yeah.
If you don't want this house back,
I'm going to take
I'm going to have it.
Yeah. Eric comes out and punches Mickey. And then Mickey beats the living shit out of him.
Yeah, they all going on. I thought this guy was dead.
I did at this point as well. They've got baseball bats. They're losing. They've lost their minds. They're complete psychopaths. They've set fire to the garden. They're beating the crap out of Eric. They're all over the place.
I mean, it's a bit of a turn.
Yeah, there's a huge turn.
They've gone from like not nice guys, but they weren't a murderous mob.
No. It's almost like somebody's gone, right, the purge has started.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do what you want now.
Yeah.
I don't know where it came from. It came completely out of left field. And to the point where I sat back, I was like, nah, I'm not having it. It's just
too much of a turn.
Too much of a turn. It didn't earn it. If you can earn a turn like that, that's too far.
Yeah.
It's too. Where this film goes now, I've not even started yet. Where this film goes now, it didn't earn it at all.
It's quite disgusting to be blunt.
It really is. You've built up a really silly but quite good premise. You've spent a whole film riling up your main character to the point where I'm like, right, he's going to go now. And then you just go, right, no, he's not going to go. These guys are going to go.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense. It made me angry. The end of this film made me angry because it isn't the ending of the film.
I got major problems with the last half an hour of the film.
Same. Let's go through it and then we'll talk about it. So where are we? Eric's unconscious on the floor now. He's been beating the crap out of Sabrina, Paul, and Chloe. Lock themselves in the house to try and keep them out. But suddenly, Mickey and all of his goons vanish.
This was fucking stupid. As well.
So they all vanish. Paul's looking out the window. He's like, I can't see anybody.
Gone.
They must have gone. They must have like, oh, shit, we beat Eric to death. Let's leave. But they obviously haven't leave. But Paul goes outside to try and rescue Eric, to try and bring his body inside or to bring him inside. And they're on the roof. Well, at least one of them's on the roof. And then they get inside because Paul's an idiot and he's left the door open.
No. That's not what happened.
Is it not?
No.
Oh, no, they didn't go in the door. Sorry, did they?
No, because I thought this film was going to do is that they'd snuck in behind Paul when he was stupid enough to open
That's
the
what
door.
I thought had just happened in my head, but it isn't.
Yeah, but that's not what happened. So Paul saw the guys on the roof, managed to get back in just in time.
Yeah.
And then Eric's body gets thrown through the window.
I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, you're right. It does. And so the window's smashed, so they're just getting that way. Yeah. Sabrina's screaming. Everybody's screaming. It's quite chaotic and in your face. Mickey backs Paul and Chloe up. He's threatening them. He's backing them back into the house, away from the doors. And then suddenly they're surrounded. There's people at the back doors. There's people at the windows. There's quite a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
Even though they turn up in one car, there's quite a lot of them. And he starts beating them up.
Well, Mickey... no, they get trapped in a sheet.
They do get trapped in a sheet.
Which, again, was a bit out of... It looked stupid.
It did. I'd forgotten about that.
They're in this threatening situation, and then they trip into a sheet.
They trip and fall into a sheet and get tangled up in it.
Yeah. And then they get horribly beaten.
Yeah, whilst they're in the sheet and can't get out. Yeah. And then Mickey and his goons start smashing the place up. They're just breaking things for the sake of breaking things.
While we're listing issues with this, why was the decision made by the filmmakers to, okay, we've got these guys in pig masks, and they walk around sort of making pig noises, but it wasn't actors doing pig, it was actual pig noises.
I picked that up as well, and I'm like,
were put on the soundtrack.
Yeah, where's that come from? Unless Mickey's really good at impersonating a pig.
No.
That's on the soundtrack of this film. It makes no sense. There's no pigs
I thought it was a terrible decision. I was like, that's not a man. That's not these guys doing a pig noise in their pig mask.
No.
That's a pig.
That's an actual pig, and there's no pigs here. Yeah.
It was stupid.
It's stupid. Paul's barely conscious. He's on the floor. He can see barely out of one eye. And when he looks up, he sees them set his pet bird on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody breathes
that was
fire.
horrible as
Yeah,
well.
it was horrible. Somebody breathes fire on it. And then Sabrina's in what I can only describe as a vacuum pack.
Yeah, it is.
So it's basically what you use to put your sheets and stuff in when you're not using them. You put them in this plastic bag.
I remember having some when our kids were growing out of their baby clothes, and we're like, well, where are we going to put these before we sell them? So we got a couple of them. Yeah.
You basically put them in a plastic bag and put the Hoover in and suck all the air out and vacuum packs them.
Compresses it now.
That's what they do to Sabrina.
And Eric.
But they do it to Sabrina first. I'm not sure it would work, but it did.
I don't know, because I don't know if you could get enough movement.
Have you still got these ones?
No, we couldn't fit in them.
Oh, that's a shame.
I don't know if we still have. I'll have a look.
Should we get them? We'll get some and try it. But basically, Eric and Sabrina get vacuum packed into these plastic bags. Paul and Chloe get away. They get back to the camper van. And Paul drives the camper van through the back window of the house, which takes 3 of Mickey's goons out.
He puts Chloe in the closet somewhere in the house.
Yeah, he hides her somewhere away. And he smashes the back window and it takes 3 of the people out with the camper van.
Mickey sees this.
Yeah.
They're quite distraught at the death of their friends, despite all the violence that's gone before. And Mickey says something like, I'm going to set fire to this place. And says, Frank, you go and take care of Paul.
He grabs Frank and says, you deal with him. I'm going to burn this house down. So Frank goes out to the camper van.
Yeah, Paul reverses it back into the garden.
And hides underneath it.
Yeah.
And then
I knew exactly what was coming there.
It's same, and I hate it because it's such a trope in these sort of films. Well, it's not even these sort of films. It happens in body horror films. So Paul's hiding under the camper van. Frank's at the bottom. Obviously, Paul slashes his Achilles open, takes his ankle out. It's a horrible visual. I hate seeing it, but it's also so overdone in films.
Very common, isn't it?
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Paul just beats him to death.
Yeah, Paul literally goes out and beats Frank to death with his bare hands. Then he cuts the gas pipe in the camper van, and then he makes a Molotov cocktail.
He does.
Because this guy's got some sort of badass Liam Neeson vibes going on now, out of nowhere.
Meanwhile, Mickey is spreading fuel all around the house.
And then he eyeballs Frank's body on the garden.
Yeah, and he sees Paul sitting in the
camper van.
And Mickey drops the canister of fuel, which happens to come to rest over the edge of the swimming pool.
Yeah, so the fuel pours into the swimming pool. So Mickey runs to the camper van. As he's doing that, Paul gets out of the camper van and gets onto the roof of the camper van.
Yeah.
And then, whilst Mickey's inside, he manages to lock him inside.
Yeah.
And then he throws this Molotov cocktail at the camper van, which explodes. Obviously, the gas pipe's been cut. The camper van explodes. We think he's done. That's the end of him.
One thing we've not said at this point, by the way, when after Paul and Chloe have been beaten when they're trapped in the sheet, they're at some point they're uncovered from the sheet and they just rip Chloe's clothes off.
Oh yeah, they did. Just randomly.
So as well as this ridiculous level of violence, she's running around without a top on.
Yeah. So we think it's all done. The camper van's exploded with Mickey inside. Frank's already dead. Suddenly, Mickey bursts out of the camper van on fire.
Yeah.
Runs around the garden, runs up to Paul, and then spots the swimming pool whilst he's on fire. So like, that's water, I'll get in there. Jumps in the swimming pool explodes because it's full of petrol.
Yeah.
And it blows up. That's the end of Mickey, or so we think. Mickey is also known as Jason. Paul walks away, thinks he's done, and then Mickey comes back.
Well, over Paul's shoulder, you see Mickey get out of the swimming pool. Burned up
Mickey coming out of the swimming pool. I'm fucking Michael Myers. I've written the killer always comes back for one last scare.
He then teleports halfway across the garden, so he's immediately behind Paul.
Yep, he does. So he beats the crap out of Paul. This is the guy who's just been burnt alive in an explosion, in 2 explosions. In an explosion in the camper van, then an explosion in the pool. He's now beating the crap out of Paul. Chloe clocks him from behind with a bat or something that she's found. She comes back.
She jet washes
and
him.
then she sprays him with the pressure washer.
I know, she must have had a fucking long extension lead.
Yep.
Because
where did it even come from?
The patio was quite a way away.
Fuck knows. And then Paul destroys him with Mickey's bat, beats the crap out of him. He pulls off... this bit was like, fuck off. He pulls off Mickey's mask.
Which is remarkably intact.
Intact as a pig face mask. And sees his own face.
Yeah.
As Mickey's face. And then looks back and it is Mickey's burnt up face.
Which isn't that burnt up. Because I thought, oh, but this is going to be the money shot. He's going to pull the pig mask off and his whole face is going to come off or something.
Yeah.
No, not really. Just a bit burnt.
Just a bit burnt up. And Mickey's still not dead. Because he turns to Paul and he says, there you are, you've got your house back.
Yeah.
And then he dies.
Or so you think.
Yeah. Chloe and Paul hug, have a bit of a cry. They free Sabrina and Eric from their vacuum packed bags that they've been in for half an hour now. So haven't breathed for the last half an hour. They release her. They're a bit beaten up, but they seem all right. But Mickey's body's gone.
Yeah.
Because of course it has. Because he's Michael fucking Myers.
They don't seem that bothered about that, considering.
No, they really didn't.
Shrug it off pretty quickly.
Yeah. Sometime later, I don't know how long later this is.
I don't think it is much later.
They hadn't got any messed up faces. This is what threw me. Their faces were both fine.
Chloe looked messed up. I don't think Paul looked very messed up.
No, there was no scars or anything.
Because she was all bruised.
She was a bit bruised.
Because you can clearly see everything in this next scene.
Because she's having a shit. For some reason, she's having a shit.
Right, so before that, we see the police, don't we?
Yeah.
Paul says goodbye to 2 policemen.
Yeah.
Presumably everything's sorted
So
out
are we thinking this is the next day?
I don't know.
I don't. Honestly, it looked like
House looks in quite a good condition.
It looked like a couple of weeks had passed for me.
Maybe.
But I don't know. Paul puts Louis to bed after he's told the police to goodbye. Chloe's having a shit for some reason. Door open. They're chatting away. You can see everything. You can't see everything she's doing, but you can clearly see what she's doing. And then they do some naughty. Have some naughty.
She comes back into the bedroom.
Yeah.
Lies down, and Paul goes south.
Yeah, in a big way.
And then
she's very much enjoying it.
A full on. I must say, I think the most gratuitous sex scene we've ever seen on this show.
100%. It's softcore porn.
Whilst the end credits play over it.
It plays under the end credits of this film. It's softcore porn. They're literally going for it.
Paul can now get it up.
Yeah, because he's can get it up and he's really, really good at it, apparently, according to her face. She's loving it. I was like, I actually stopped it. I was like, I'm watching that.
Oh, so you didn't see the last bit?
Oh, did I? I don't know how soon I stopped it. What happened?
No, there wasn't.
I was going to say, Mickey never came back. I was fully expecting Mickey to just grab her off him and pull her head off.
Because they're going at it.
Yeah.
Paul's on top. And I was like, if this camera pans up and Mickey's over Paul's shoulder.
Can you imagine?
I'd have been like...
It should have happened. It would have been the ludicrous ending to a ludicrous film. Overall, though, Nick, what did you think?
It's so all over the place. Yeah, I did not like this film at all.
Same.
I didn't like the start. I didn't like it when it changed gears into some weird hedonistic party thing. I really couldn't stand the last half hour.
I hated the last half
so
hour.
Gratuitous for no reason.
It's grimy, it's nasty, it's uber violent.
When he set our bird on fire, I was just like, no, I'm done.
I'm done. Same.
Why are these people acting like
this?
Why have they gone, like you said, why have they gone purge?
If anybody's going purge in this film, it's Paul. They built this up the whole way through this film. Is them building him up. The whole film is just people building him up to lose his mind.
Yeah.
You're not an angry man, become an angry man.
That's an hour of this movie. A bit more, actually, but hour and 10 minutes of this movie.
Most of this movie. It's like, you're not an angry man. This has happened to you. You need to get more angry. Yeah. And it builds slowly, and it's really good at it. It slowly builds him up to be more and more and more angry.
And then it twists.
And then it twists, and it's just like, nah,
these guys are going to come and do it.
These fucking mental morons are going to come and do it. And it's like, this film doesn't earn that. Mikey's character does not earn that ending. It's bullshit.
Because he's just a loser local kid.
Yeah.
He's
Why this film had to
like
become...
big man in a small town, isn't he? He's that
Yeah.
like, I was
Yeah.
a big guy at school.
When I was
and
at
now
school,
I'm-
yeah. We all know them. We
Yeah.
definitely know them. But it's bullshit. It's absolute bollocks.
It's that the last half hour is horrible.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think it's inventive.
No, it's nothing that's not been
It's
done before.
when they're just getting beaten in the shit. It's just nasty.
It is.
And I'm like, this is somewhat. I was like, this. I don't think there's been many times watching something for this show where I've been like, oh, fucking hell, if someone walked into my room now and saw me watching this, they'd be like, what the fuck
you
is
watch.
this?
Yeah.
What's wrong with
Make
you?
sure you've got your blind shut.
Yeah.
It did feel like watching like Hostel or something along those lines. It's like, this is just horrible to watch. I'm not enjoying myself here. And I love, you know me, I love like films like Saw and that sort of shit. But this is like, this film didn't earn that ending.
It's dirty, isn't it?
It's
not.
dirty.
It's not creative. I don't think the performances are that good.
No, I don't.
I didn't like Paul as a character.
No.
I thought he was an idiot. I think everyone was an idiot.
Yeah, completely. Even Chloe's an idiot. Even that kid's an idiot. It's really made me angry. I'm quite forgiving of films. I think that's established, but I can't forgive this for what it becomes. I hated it.
If you've listened to us for a while, you'll know one of my pet peeves is like just doing a twist.
Yeah, just for the sake of it.
That you don't always have to do it. You can. What was wrong with telling Paul's story?
Yeah, let him have his ending that you've built up for the last hour and a half.
It's just
Yeah.
And then to just throw, it was just like, let's throw everything at the wall, and then at the end, well, we're putting a fucking massive sex scene in.
Just after she's had a shit. No, this isn't for me.
It's really bad. I didn't like it at all.
I didn't either. No, it's one of the worst films we've seen, genuinely. Just because the film that ends this film is not the film that started this film.
I just think
you get disappointed because you don't get the ending of this film that you deserve. If you watch the first hour of this film, you don't get the ending that you deserve to get.
But I think it's really lazy as well.
Yeah, it's
even like
incredibly lazy.
like the rave scenes.
Yeah,
it's all just hipster for show. Like
for show.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's nothing there where I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. I was just like, no, this fucking it's stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a boxing ring. Oh, there's a fucking phone booth of water. I was just no, it's not.
Bullshit.
You're just thinking of like, oh, what'd be cool? Let's put this in my movie.
Yeah. No, this is just trying to be.
It's
something
not
that
good.
it
I
isn't.
didn't have a fun time watching this
No,
movie.
not me. Not me. I was glad when it ended.
I felt like I was watching it for. Oh, I'm really kicking it while it's down now. I felt like I was watching it for ages.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
I don't necessarily felt like it dragged, but I also felt I was checking my watch every 5 minutes.
Yeah, same.
And being disappointed that only another 5 minutes had gone past.
Same. I don't get angry about.
I was
these
not
films,
invested for all the reasons we've talked about. For the whole why you kicked out of your house, beyond the first 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah.
My favourite scene was them sitting outside the house.
Yeah.
In the RV,
When they
right
were
at the
just on
start, trying to work out what was
going. The first scene is the best scene in this film.
When they got to the police station and the whole thing started about the utility bills, I was gone, pretty much gone from there.
Yeah. When the cop says to him, "Whatever you do, don't try and break in because you'll end up in prison," and then the very last scene is him just waving a couple of cops off after he's done exactly that. It's like, it's absolute rubbish. It's rubbish. There we go. I've said it. That being said, what's the best thing about it?
Well, just before we go to that, circling back around to where we started.
Yeah.
I know we can't take, don't take ratings as read for IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes or whatever you want to use, but this 5.6.
Yeah, it's too
far
too much. No. This is no more than a 4.3.
It's in the threes for me.
Yeah, it's not far off for me.
Yeah, it's really bad.
It's really, really bad.
Nasty, horrible film.
Do not watch this film.
Yeah.
There you go. I've said it. What's the best thing about this film, Nick?
The best thing about this movie, Adam, is the scene.
The opening scene.
When they're sat in the RV trying to work out why they can't get in their house.
Yeah.
It's
because it's
the
intriguing.
only bit of subtlety.
Yeah.
In this entire 100-minute movie.
Because you're intrigued to think, oh, why has the postbox name changed. Why aren't they being allowed in their own house?
And
then you find out why they're not being allowed.
And the fact the choice has been made not to go with Paul as he's running around the house banging on doors. And we see it all, like you say, from the kid's point of view.
Yeah.
In the back of the RV.
It's a really good bit of directing. But then it's almost like that director then gave this film to somebody else to finish off. And then they give it to somebody else. And then they give it to somebody else. So it turns like 4 times into a different film. Yeah. It doesn't know. I couldn't tell you what genre this film is. It's part horror, part thriller, part body horror.
Torture porn.
Part torture porn, part porn. It's a bit of everything. What would you change about it? Give Paul his ending, please. That's
it gets his happy ending.
He does get his happy ending, bless him.
Scale it down.
Take that last scene away and let Paul do it. Let Paul be the crazy person. That's what you've built up for the last hour.
Why does it even have to be a torture porn?
It doesn't.
Just Eric versus Paul.
Yeah, let Paul do something because you've built that for the last hour and a half.
Why is
Eric barely has 2 words in this film, and he's the guy who stole
I'm just thinking
house.
This now. Are not Eric and Sabrina arguably more interesting characters?
Yeah.
We never hear about what their motivation. Well, other than she was your babysitter, and they
lost their house somehow.
Yeah. Well, let's
the fact that
let's deal with that on screen.
The fact that we don't get the showdown between those 2 couples.
Yeah.
And they end up helping each other.
What is even Mickey in this film?
Nothing.
What? Paul can be sent mad just as much by the people who invaded his house.
Yes. Which is what was happening.
Yeah.
And Mickey was just there to rile him up even more, which is fine. That's absolutely fine. But then do that. Don't make Mickey the psychopath pig murderer. That's really angry. It's really made me angry. And I don't get angry with 5 films very often. Yeah, it's a
shit show, this movie.
It's a shit show. The only way to change it is to give Paul an ending. And make him be the whatever you want it to be, but it's got to be Paul. Because that's who you built up for that long. You want to talk stream table?
Yeah.
You don't sound like you do.
No, I do. It's not going to be a good result for this movie.
No, absolutely not. What are you thinking? Do you want me to read up from the bottom for a bit?
Yeah, why not?
So currently at the bottom of the stream is Werewolves of the Third Reich, followed by Secret Obsession, then Anti-Life, then American Mary, then Time Freak. I don't need to go any higher than that. I know exactly where this film goes.
I think we're going to disagree.
Okay.
Because I think you're going to want to put it bottom.
I do want to put it bottom.
Because I don't think that's correct.
Okay. Well, we can have that argument if you want it. I want to put it bottom because it isn't very good.
It's not very good at all.
It's not. It's terrible. We put films at the top of the stream because we have fun watching them.
Yeah.
How much fun did you have watching them?
None.
How much fun did you have watching Werewolves of the Third Reich? There's at least a laugh somewhere in that.
But I think that's where this table goes wrong because...
the whole concept of the show is wrong.
Because arguably I had less fun watching Secret Obsession than Werewolves of the Third Reich.
Yeah.
But we put it under
because
Werewolves of the Third Reich is a terrible movie, terribly made, terribly acted, terribly directed with no effects and basically no werewolves.
That's true. Or Third Reich. That's true. And we don't only go on how much fun did you have. And that's why those 2 are not in that position. This isn't as good a film as Werewolf of the Third Reich. I just don't think it is. I just don't think it... The story's ludicrous. It makes no sense, and it wouldn't happen. The ending is not the ending for the beginning of this film. It's disjointed. It's a mess. It's a mess, and it's bullshit.
I don't disagree with any of what you've said.
It's up to you.
Is it? Oh, yeah. That's the first time for everything.
It's up to you because I'm adamant that this is worse than Werewolves of the Third Reich. But if you don't think it is, I'll let you come back.
Well, I'm going to make you really angry here. Because I would actually put it above Secret Obsession.
Okay. Why?
Because that was really fucking boring.
That was really boring. I'm just going purely on how angry this film's made me. Because I don't know why, it's just really annoyed me.
No, look,
those are terrible films.
They're all these 3 films we're talking about are all terrible. And I really, really dislike all of them.
Same.
For slightly different reasons. Same.
Should we just split the difference, put it in the middle then?
Yeah, fine. That's fair.
Yeah?
Yeah.
As much as I hate the ending to this film, some of the effects are quite good. When the guy runs out and he's on fire and runs into the swimming pool, that's not too bad. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Okay, so it goes 17th on the stream table. We're 18 already.
Sure are.
Wowzeroonies. 17th out of 18 films. Who'd have thought that when it came out?
It's bad.
It's bad. It's definitely not the sequel to Get Out. That's for sure. That's a great film. Right, we need to pick next week's film.
Excellent.
Shall we run the randomizer?
Yeah, let's do it. Nah. Come on. A what?
Nah, not running it.
Oh, no.
I've picked my wild card. Wild card. I've just got to try and remember what it's called now.
Now we're talking. So, if anyone is new to listening to us, myself and Adam and our Patreons, if you come in at the top level, get a wild card, one each season. That means you can tell Robin the randomizer to take the week off and choose the movie that we're going to watch.
Absolutely. So you've already played yours this season.
I have.
Currently at number 2 in the stream table.
Yeah.
Sam Mulholland has already played his.
Yes.
Currently number 1 in the stream table. Winning the whole thing.
Ross Cook has already played his. 14th in the stream table. American Mary.
Yeah, he didn't win, did he? So there's just me left and Jordan Shenton left.
Yes.
I don't think I can win.
Okay.
So I've decided to not...
What kind of attitude is that?
So I've decided to not try and win and just pick something that looks fun. You threw me a wild card in more ways than one by picking a horror film.
Okay.
So what I've done is picked a comedy film.
Oh, brilliant. I'm here for this.
However, it is a horror comedy.
Fine.
It's also was released in 1984.
Brilliant.
It's called Bloodbath at the House of Death.
Of course it is.
Why would it not be?
Yeah.
Do you want to know who's in it?
Yeah, I'd love to.
There's 2 absolute legends in this film.
Oh, I'm so excited.
But from completely different genres, right? Arguably 3. Pamela Stevenson's in this film.
Okay, great.
Then she's not who I'm talking about. The main star of this film is one of the most famous comedians from the 80s.
Okay.
Kenny Everett is in this film.
Right.
Alongside Vincent Price.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'd never heard of this. It's been on our long list for a little while, not too long. It's an 80s horror comedy. Do you want to know the synopsis?
Yes, please.
6 scientists investigate a strange phenomenon at the creepy Headstone Manor, the site of a mysterious massacre years earlier that took the lives of 18 guests in one night. Sounds like a proper horror film.
I think it's a good choice.
When we finish recording, we will watch the trailer.
Okay.
And then I inspire everybody to watch this trailer. Yeah, it's only rated 5.1 out of 10 on IMDb. So it is.
Well, we've already said that means nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it. I hope we have a lot of fun with it. It's written and directed by the guy who did all of Kenny Everett's sketch shows and that sort of thing. So I think it's going to be fun. And I thought I'd throw you a bit of a curveball by picking a comedy.
I love it.
We haven't done an 80s film in a dog's age. Couldn't even tell you how long it's been.
It's been a while.
But it's been a long time. And we always have good fun with 80s films.
Yeah.
So yeah, go and watch Bloodbath at the House of Death. It is on Netflix, randomly. And then in the meantime, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd at BOTS_podcast. If you want to drop us an email, our email address is bottomofthestream@gmail.com. And if you want to go on our website, that's bottomofthestream.com. On the website, you'll find every episode we've ever recorded, all 6 season stream tables, loads of other cool stuff. And you can even get some Bottom of the Stream merch if you would like to buy a Bottom of the Stream tennis racket.
Oh, nice. I'm in.
Not sure, but there might be. After you've done that, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/bottomofthestream. For a couple of quid every month, you will get early access to the movie show episodes. You will get a newsletter that Nick writes every month. And if you come in at the top level, you can play a wild card like I just did. And then when you've done all that, head over to Discord. Check us out on Discord. We have built up quite a cool community over there. We've got another watch along coming up. I think that's quite soon.
Yes.
It might have already happened by the time this episode comes out. I can't remember when it is. After you've join us there. We have a lot of fun times in there. The Discord link will be in the bottom of the show notes.
Yeah, please do come and join us. It is a lot of fun, and it's a really nice bunch of people.
Yeah, it is.
You'll meet
bunch of legends.
Lots of new friends.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
Including us.
If you've got a few minutes, please consider leaving us a review anywhere that you can review podcasts, Podchaser, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Cephalopod, anywhere.
Spotify
at all.
now.
Oh, I didn't know if I should mention them because they're a load
Oh,
of
yeah,
cunts,
fuck Spotify,
so...
but you can review them on there if you want.
I think you can give a star rating on there.
Yeah,
I don't think you can leave a review, but it all helps us, our little podcast, put us in front of more eyes and ears, and that's what we want. Maybe you could write your review in bacon.
Bacon?
Yeah.
Pigs. Got it.
Yeah, nice.
Thanks.
It's a pretty malleable material.
Yeah, you can pretty much do anything with bacon.
Yeah.
Tastes nice too.
Yes, you can eat your review afterwards.
Cool. Yeah, do all of that and then go out and watch Bloodbath at the House of Death.
Oh, I'm so excited.
And we'll be back on Monday for The Wave and on Thursday to talk about my wild card.
Cheers.
Bye.